My name is Arin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Life Without Struggle. Today we're going to dig into a really awesome topic on demanding excellence for your life. So I titled this one, Demand Excellence for Your Life, because I feel that most people settle. I feel that most people get to a certain level of life. Maybe it's a little bit better than your mom and dad did. Maybe it's right at the same level, and it's like, this is good enough. And we just kind of coast. We coast through life. You know, I've heard different people say, oh, I'm just going to work 1,000,000 hours and I'm going to sock away as much money as I can. And then I'm just going to retire at a super early age. And I kind of look at that and I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but what is the purpose? And that is a question that we don't ask ourselves enough. And so I want to dig into this pretty meaty topic. It's going to be pretty deep, which I'm pretty much always there all days, every day of my life. But I wanted to dig into why we should demand excellence for your life and how you go about doing this. So the problem that I see is we just settle. We think that this is just good enough. I see people settle all the time in their bodies. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have a 6-pack, but it's kind of one of those things like, why not? But what I feel and what I wanted to bring in this message here today is asking yourself, what do I actually desire? Should you know, what is it that you actually desire? And I'm going to challenge you to go another edge. See, most of us just go because we've watched our family, we've seen some success in our life, and so we feel, reasonably speaking, that, hey, we've made it. We've gotten far enough. We got the good job, we got the house, we got the car, we got the kids, and we're good, right? Maybe we take a vacation every now and again, or maybe we can go and buy the things that we want, kind of, sort of. And so we feel good, right? Like life is all good. And I'm here to challenge that. I'm here to say, hey, why not go for a little more? Why not look into what is it that you actually want? So we're going to come full circle back to this. So the problem I see is we truly settle. We think this is it. I've seen so many times, we've had friends, we've had family members just say, why isn't that just enough, Arin? Why can't you just be happy where you're at? And it doesn't mean that you're not happy where you're at. It just means that you're always going to be challenging yourself to go for more. So what do I mean by more? So what I mean by more is, let's just say, for example, you've set a health goal. And you're like, you know what? This would be really nice. I would love to hit this number on the scale. I've been trying. I can't hit this goal for whatever reason. And so you set a very reasonable goal that you're like, you know what? I can get to this. This will be just fine. And then you achieve it. And then you kind of hover around it. And here's the thing. You still look in the mirror and you're like, man, I thought I was going to look a little bit differently. So I have this come up commonly, like women will set a goal and listen, that first goal is so important. It is so important to set that goal, go for it, nail it, hit it, then it's like, okay, now what do I desire? See, it's one thing to hit your first goal. It's a whole nother thing to stretch yourself. What else can I do? And now, reasonably speaking, there is kind of this like happy medium endpoint. I want women to get to a point where it's like, okay, I can maintain this lifestyle. I love the look that I've achieved. But so many times I see women get to a very comfortable number and she still has another 10, another 20 in the bag. And it's like, why not? But here's what I know. And here's what I know to be true is like the first goal is so dang scary because you haven't been able to get there on your own. So it's like, why the heck would I set that next level goal? And that's why this is such an important conversation to have is, okay, cool, nail the first goal, then kind of regroup, get settled, feel good for a hot minute, because you got to celebrate that. You got to celebrate the win. You've got to really like, man, check out what I've done. And then it's okay to say, I wonder if I could lift X. I wonder if I could do Y. It's a good thing to challenge yourself. You're never meant to be stagnant. We're never meant to stay still. We are to be in motion all the time. So here's what happens, and this is what really honestly breaks my heart, is never become who you were meant to be. Now, I know this is going to get a little bit deep, a little bit raw, a little bit emotional, but so many of us can do so much more in our life. And I'm not just talking about like a financial or body fat percentage or weight on the scale, but what I'm talking about is the impact, the amount of people that we can serve, the amount of others that we can help their life be better because of our gifts, our talents. So many times we stay small. I know I'm guilty of it. I know that I've got to get a lot louder in my message because I want more women to understand that, yes, cool, let's get the weight off your body. But hey, girl, like, what else do you truly desire in your life? What else do you want to accomplish? You know, and so this is going to require you to get uncomfortable. It's going to require you to knock away the imposter syndrome. It's going to require you to do things outside of your comfort zone. And if there's one thing I know about training clients is a lot of people don't like to get outside their comfort zone, right? And that's why they hire a trainer, why they hire a coach. And specifically, I'm talking about like whenever you work out in a gym, it's so interesting how many people will just stay right in that comfort zone. And reasonably speaking, all good. Obviously, you want to stay safe. You want to keep your form paramount. But most never realize what they can do. So many times I watch women deadlift and I'm like, you could do double that weight. But in all fairness, the deadlift is a very technical move and you do want to do that correctly. And it can be devastating if you don't do this correctly. So it's important to like push yourself appropriately, have someone that can help make sure your form is perfect. But it's one of those things where I have always just watched, just from owning a gym myself and seeing people work out. It's like, girl, you got like 20 more pounds you can throw on that bar. Bench press is another one. And again, you got to build yourself up to it. You need to have a spotter. You want to make sure your form stays on point. But it's such a relation to things that we do in life. We always want to stay safe and in our comfort zone. Don't go for that board. We don't serve on a certain committee. Don't take the speaking engagement. We don't put ourselves out there as the thought leader or leader of whatever because we think, oh, someone else is going to be better for that, or oh, not me. I'm not ready for that challenge. And so what I want you to consider is you're never going to be or truly meant to be. Now, I don't know about you, but that gets me. For whatever reason, this has been installed in me from a very, very young age that, hey, I'm going to move mountains. I may not know exactly how I move those mountains, but I'm going to move some mountains. And for whatever reason, I fell in love with helping people. I started out school in nursing, ended up switching into exercise science, considered going PT or the medical, like a medical route. And so I always knew that I wanted to make someone's life better. And I've probably shared this story before, but I remember teaching a simple water aerobics class. Here's what's so interesting, and this is a little bit of a backstory to this. So I would think I was the ripe age of like 19. I'd been a runner my whole life. I had just gotten into my exercise science classes, and I had no clue how to teach water aerobics. But my boss at the time, so here's the deal, I was a swim instructor and I was a lifeguard. And I remember her saying, hey, we don't have anyone to teach the splash and dash class. Will you cover it tonight? And I was like, no, I have no clue. And so she said, oh, no, here you go. Here's a manual. Just look through it, get some ideas, and just have fun. Just have fun. And she was like, okay, see ya, bye. And I remember just literally being thrown into it. And I was so nervous. I was so scared. But one thing that happened is the second I got into the water, I came alive. I was so excited. I had all these women in my class, and I knew that I just need to help them move their bodies. We had those big foam weights, and so I just made up some different frog hops and walking, through the water, but at a fast pace, because believe it or not, just walking in water, and we had water up to about our chest, and so it was good. You had your own resistance, which was a really, really good thing. But I remember being put so far outside my comfort zone. But my boss literally said, okay, see ya. Let me know how it goes. But had I not had that experience, who knows? Who knows? Because that truly was the catalyst that threw me into loving to help other people. I had a woman tell me that she no longer took her arthritis medicine because of consistently coming and doing the splash and dash class. And that was like just my first testimonial. It was the first person that ever said something. And I was just like, man, you've got to be kidding me. And I mean, even today, like I'm thinking about this week right now. And I've had 2 clients come up on their year. They're almost on their year. And I mean, we are well over 40 pounds of weight loss. These women are totally different women. They've completely changed who they are. I've got another client that, is down a significant amount of weight, and she just has had a tough time, like just mentally. There's been a lot on her plate, a lot on her mind. And, it was just having a conversation with her that was able to just completely shift that mood. Can you imagine if I didn't feel that I could do this? Can you imagine? Like, I can't imagine not serving and helping these women. And the thing that I get frustrated with is I need to help more women. I need to serve more women and help them understand that how you can feel on a daily basis. This isn't some secret. So this is why I come on here so passionately about demanding excellence for your life. Demand it. And here's the thing, demanding it to yourself. You're asking yourself to show up for, believe it or not, this is about you. This isn't about anyone else. Now, as a byproduct, there's a lot of people who are going to benefit. Listen, when you feel good about you, when you're not a stress ball all the time, when you navigate stress better, and see, listen, like even myself, I know in this particular season of life, I've had a fair amount of stress. I've got my mother at the current state right now. She is currently in ICU after an emergency back surgery. And here's the thing. I know that I'm handling this stress so much better because of who I demand out of myself. I demanded myself to take the time on the weekend to prepare my food. I for whatever reason, I got to burr up my you-know-what, and I decided to cook a bunch of food this week just to make our week go a little bit easier. I had no clue what this week was going to unfold. But because I live at such a high standard, guess what? We're not in and out of drive-thrus. We're not, going out and eating food that we really don't want to eat. I'm not just, laying in bed, crying my eyes out, because we truly don't know the quality of life and the outcome to be completely genuine. She's not hanging on by a thread, but there's multiple things that could go south that could really change the trajectory for my mother. And so it's everything when you demand excellence out of yourself, meaning manage your emotions well. You understand how to work through different programs. You understand how to work through what is productive for you, how to not compartmentalize, but just how to navigate stress in life. It doesn't mean you go and eat a bunch of things, right? Like what it means is, okay, what can I do to make my life a little bit easier? There's little things that I do that I really don't even think about. It's very unconscious for me. But like the second the kids come in the door, I take the time to literally wash all of their lunch stuff and get all the weird crap that's still sitting in there after a day. And like I go ahead and just pack that lunch. I don't wait to do it in the morning. I pack it right then and now. Do I want to do it? Heck no. Heck no. But I know if I just get it done, knock it out, guess what? In the morning, when Tony gets him going to school, he can just easily pull that out. And I know that that makes his life easier. So what are some hacks for your life that can make your life go easier? I guarantee if you would objectively step back and say, man, if our household is always in cahoots, think about it. Think about what you can do to truly demand excellence. And I know this sounds a little, drill sergeant here, but demand it out of your kids. If you don't demand excellence from your kids, what's going to happen? They're going to follow the same darn program, okay? And it's challenging, it really is. And I don't want to harp on my kids, but at the end of the day, it makes everybody's life easier when they put their stuff where it goes, when the main floor of our house is kept and tidy. It makes everybody feel better. And so you may be like, Arin, what the heck does this have to do? Believe it or not, your space will dictate how you feel. So it's something to consider. And, listen, I don't need everything just completely pristine and killing yourself to make it that way, but have a standard for your household. So why you should demand excellence is truly so that you can become who you were truly meant to be. There's no sandbagging here, okay? Because what good is that for? If you can't put your gifts and talents out there, if you can't impact more people, what's the point, okay? So to demand this excellence out of our body, out of our business, out of our relationships, it's everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. I was thinking about this. Oh my gosh, I was just laughing because I was cleaning the bathrooms, right? Like nobody enjoys doing this. And like I was cleaning our bathrooms and I wasn't going to pick up the trash can to vacuum underneath it. And then I was like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it's just like mantra kills me because it shows up in my life, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And I, again, hope you guys are laughing, but I literally think about that anytime I'm trying to take a shortcut. And I want you to keep that in your life. Anytime you're thinking about not doing that workout, not doing that rep, not planning your food, not eating on point, how you do one thing is how you do. Live by that. So what we've got to do is we got to think about how do we put our health first? our health really truly does dictate everything. And now you may think, well, Arin, I really need to focus on my finances or my relationship with my spouse. Here's the deal. I've done this long enough. I've seen this long enough that you have to get your health right first. Focusing on your health will then trickle into everything else. When you work on your health first, then you'll see your finances get better. Maybe you start eating dinner in versus dining out. Maybe you stop getting that Starbucks and you save some money there. Get a plan in place. So number one, you've got to really work on your health. Have a plan. What are the things that you need to do to get your desired result? Then we want to get our finances in order. This is really important because we need to understand where our money's going, how our money's coming in, because this is really energy. Want to be excited to pay your bills. And I know that sounds so crazy, but this was something that my coach had said to me is, hey, you want to pay those bills on time, you want to pay them early, you want to feel good, like, yes, I get to pay that water bill. That is just so wonderful. And I will be honest, just changes your mindset. But then really get excited about making financial goals and achieving them. Just like you would hit a number on the scale, hitting a number in your bank account or investments or whatever it is. Or maybe it's a reward that you're like, you know what, I'm going to save up this money or I'm allocating this money to this thing. And then you go buy the thing or you do the thing, meaning go on vacation or go to a restaurant or something. Like celebrate that. That is a huge win. The other thing you want to think about is having goals for all aspects of your life. And we have to constantly reassess those goals. Can't just set goals and then never look at them again. Basically, I know what happens is like, okay, we're in holiday mode now in this particular time of recording this. And then all of a sudden it's like all your goals go to hell in a handbasket because it's like, oh, I'll just start over at the beginning of the year. When in reality, why not dominate December? Why not? So set goals for all areas of your life, your health, your wealth, career or business, your spirituality, your relationships, your family. Decide what categories are important to you. Then write out, what do you want to achieve? Think about it in a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, and you can take it as far as you want to go. Now, to be honest, the 1 year needs to be pretty like detailed. This is what I'm doing because we can reasonably see it. Then you want to start writing out that 3 year, that 5 year, that 10 year. And those will get a little bit fuzzy, but set some goals that really challenge you, that you're like, oh my gosh, really, could I really do this? So the worst thing you could ever do is not set goals. See, I did this. Tony and I did this. We wanted the building that our gym resides in so bad. We wanted that so bad, and we got it. It took us forever, it seems like, and it really wasn't. But now we've been there 10 years. And it's very interesting because we kind of lost sight of what's next. And it's been a very interesting space to be in. It's something that he and I recognized, but it was almost like it was too late. And then, obviously a pandemic didn't help anyone. A bunch of the social injustice really affected our city. And so there's just been a lot of things. It's not an excuse, right? I will tell you our business is in the state that it is in because of our lack of vision and goals. So you know what happens? You roll up the sleeves, set some goals. Pretty simple. And then you do the thing, right? So set these goals. Then what you do is you start writing out, okay, what actions is it going to take? One thing that was always so interesting to me in business was setting a financial goal, because that's typically where you start, is like, okay, this is what you want that month to do. And then you break down from a marketing standpoint, what is it going to take? How many renewals did we have that month? What was our current attrition rate? Then we looked at it from, okay, what would we need to deploy in order to bring that many customers in? And it was always clockwork, because then we set the actions, we assign the tasks, who's doing what, and then it was pretty black and white. We rarely didn't hit the goal that we set, and the business is just very, very rhythmic. It's no different with your health. So you set the goal. What do I want to see happen in this next month? Okay, what are the actions that I am going to have to do? What do my steps need to look like? What does my water intake? What is my sleep? What are my workouts? What does my food need to look like? And then you have to see yourself through the implementation of that. So think about this, take some time, really work into this. And I want you to really understand that you can't just coast. Don't coast in life. No matter what season of life you are in, there is something that you have been called to do. So many of us don't do those things out of fear, out of self-doubt. But here's the thing, when you demand excellence out of your life, you're going to show up differently. You're going to show up differently. Opportunities are going to show up differently for you, because there's just a standard. It's a standard to who you are, how you act, how you show up. Just remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So go get 'em.